Any fool can die on a cross. It takes a God to walk out of the grave. And last time I checked, there's only one religion on the planet that has an empty grave. That's been proven empty. All the evidence that's come out from the Shroud of Turin in the last couple of years has just been absolutely phenomenal in showing that the Shroud of Turin is impossible to be a fake. It has to be an original because of the details and everything else that goes into it. You don't believe me? Look up Shroud of Turin. It's there. It's not a fake. That is the real shroud that held Jesus Christ at the resurrection. Now, these guys that seem to use their theology, how do we know they're using their theology? Because one, they're always learning but never able to come to the knowledge of the gospel. So their heart is never transformed by the gospel. Their head knowledge, they're filling their head with head knowledge, but their heart is never transformed. What happens with that transformation? Romans chapter 12, verses 1 and 2 tell us exactly what happens with that transformation. It says, therefore, brothers, you have the mercies of God. I urge you to present your bodies as a living sacrifice. We'll get into that in just a minute. Holy and pleasing to God. This is your spiritual act of worship.
Yes.
Do not be conformed to this age, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you may discern what is the good, pleasing, and perfect will of God.
That is really quite huge.
Okay? That is what happens when you take the learning here and apply it here. These guys weren't doing that. Just like Janus and Jambres, who were the two magicians who tried to out-trick Moses when they threw their staves down and their staves turned into snakes. The interesting thing about this is that Janus and Jambres, their names are never mentioned in the Bible except this one time. So what does that tell us? There were other historical Hebrew books about Moses at the time in circulation that even Timothy, a Greek guy, would have read and would have known who Janus and Jambres was, because they're extra biblical names, even though they are tied to the event of what happened in Egypt during the plagues. They're tied to the plagues in Egypt and Moses through extra biblical text.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's the important part. But these guys, they tried to also reset the truth in front of Moses by showing off their magic. But what happened to those two magic staves of Jambres and Janus? Oh yeah, God's staff ate them both and then turned back into a staff, which then again started the next 10 plagues. That one staff, by the way. And he goes on to say in verse 9, but they will not make further progress, for their lack of understanding will be clear to all, as theirs was also. Theirs being Janus and Jambres, because their illusion was simply that, an illusion. These guys are walking around with the illusion of knowledge, the illusion of theology, the illusion of Christianity, but they're not living the transformed life that the Holy Spirit demands.